air power rising, dominating the skies. This aircraft was never designed for ordinary flight. It was built to dominate the sky. Within seconds, altitude becomes power, speed becomes strategy. Inside the cockpit, every movement matters. Technology responds instantly. Radar searches the sky, but this aircraft stays hidden. From sea to sky in seconds, precision replaces hesitation. Speed changes the battlefield. Movement becomes dominance. This aircraft was built for advantage, not for visibility. Every system remains hidden until the moment it is needed. One aircraft is powerful, a squadron controls the sky. Above the clouds, a different world begins. And this machine was built to rule it. At high altitude, the fighter jet becomes more than an aircraft. It becomes a strategic platform moving silently above the battlefield. Every flight represents decades of aerospace innovation and military engineering. Inside the cockpit, the pilot is surrounded by advanced sensors and displays. Information flows constantly through the aircraft's systems. Every signal helps the pilot understand the environment far beyond human vision. Stealth technology changed the rules of aerial warfare. Instead of overwhelming enemies with numbers, modern fighters rely on invisibility and precision. Launching and recovering a fighter jet from a carrier requires perfect coordination. Every movement on the deck is carefully controlled to protect both aircraft and crew. When the engines ignite at full power, the aircraft moves faster than sound itself. Distance disappears quickly when speed becomes the dominant force. Sensor fusion allows the aircraft to gather information from radar, satellites, and onboard systems. All data combines into a single tactical view for the pilot. Low-altitude flight demonstrates how adaptable these aircraft truly are. They can operate across oceans, mountains, and deserts without losing speed or precision. Powerful engines allow the jet to climb almost vertically. Within seconds, it can reach altitudes that place it far above ordinary aircraft. Behind every mission stands a team of specialists who maintain the aircraft. Their work ensures the jet performs perfectly every time it enters the sky. At cruising altitude, the aircraft appears calm and silent. Yet beneath that calm lies incredible power waiting for command. Aerial refueling allows fighter jets to extend their missions for hours. This capability transforms a regional aircraft into a global strategic platform. Navigation systems guide the aircraft through complex routes. Even at extreme speed, the pilot maintains complete control over direction and timing. Terrain changes rapidly beneath the aircraft. Mountains, valleys, and cities pass by within minutes. Landing a fighter jet requires the same precision as launching it. Every movement must be controlled carefully. Carrier landings remain one of the most demanding skills in aviation. Only the most trained pilots master this maneuver. After landing, the aircraft prepares for the next mission. Maintenance and planning begin immediately. Inside the hangar, technicians inspect every component. Precision maintenance ensures future missions remain successful. Ground systems support every fighter mission. Radar operators track aircraft and monitor surrounding airspace continuously. Preparation never stops. Every mission leads directly to the next. Within seconds, the aircraft reaches incredible speed. Power builds rapidly inside the engines. Takeoff marks the beginning of another mission cycle. Once airborne, the aircraft becomes part of the global defense network. Above the clouds, the fighter jet moves silently through open sky. From here, it can reach almost any location within minutes. Formation flying multiplies power and coordination. Squadrons operate as a single unit rather than individual aircraft. Altitude and speed combine to give these aircraft unmatched reach. From this height, the world below appears quiet and distant. Inside, America's most advanced fighter aircraft technology and strategy merge together, a machine designed for one purpose: absolute control of the sky. This phase begins where most people stop watching. On the ground. The aircraft moves slowly, but everything around it is controlled and precise. Every hand signal, every checkpoint, every pause is part of a system built for reliability. Nothing is rushed because rushed systems fail. This isn't a normal aircraft workflow. It's a dominance workflow. When the engines ignite, the aircraft becomes a different kind of machine. Runway becomes momentum, and momentum becomes altitude. In seconds, the ground loses relevance. The takeoff is not just a departure, it is a transition into a controlled airspace mindset. Speed doesn't feel exciting here, it feels inevitable. At higher altitude, the aircraft becomes quieter to the world below and stronger against the world ahead. The cockpit is no longer a seat, it's a command interface. The pilot isn't just flying, the pilot is managing a system. Every climb is a statement of advantage. The sky is not empty, it's contested space. Stealth is not about looking cool. It is about appearing late to the enemy's awareness. The aircraft moves with a calm that hides its actual capability. Above the clouds, it looks peaceful, but peace up here is engineered. What matters is not what the jet shows. What matters is what it hides. Modern air dominance begins with information, not aggression. The aircraft collects signals, patterns, and motion long before anything becomes visible. The pilot doesn't chase problems. The pilot predicts them. This is what separates older aircraft from advanced platforms. The jet is not reactive, it is anticipatory. One aircraft is capability. A formation is a system. The sky changes when multiple jets move as one coordinated structure. Formation flight isn't just visual power, it is tactical discipline expressed through motion. Every aircraft supports the other without chaos. This is teamwork at the speed of air. Low altitude isn't a stunt, it's a method of control. The environment becomes cover and speed becomes protection. The aircraft moves where radar coverage is harder and reaction time is shorter. It's not about danger, it's about precision under constraints. This is the discipline of dominance. What looks smooth from outside is constant adjustment inside. The aircraft is always balancing power, stability, and awareness. The pilot is not just steering, the pilot is managing layered systems designed to keep advantage permanent. Control here is calm, not loud. Calm is what you get when capability is real. Range is not just distance, it is endurance of influence. Aerial refueling turns a mission into a long-range presence. The aircraft doesn't need to come home quickly, it can stay where it matters. This is how air power becomes persistent, not a moment, a sustained advantage. Once refueled, the aircraft becomes lighter and faster in purpose. The system resets into forward motion. It doesn't drift, it repositions. Speed isn't used for drama, it's used for timing. Timing is what decides outcomes before anyone notices. Not every mission is combat, but every mission is preparation. Advanced aircraft spend countless hours shaping readiness. Training airspace becomes a laboratory in the sky. Patterns are repeated until they become instinct, and instinct at this speed is what keeps pilots alive. The aircraft is powerful, but it is not alone. Ground systems extend its awareness beyond the cockpit. Operators track movement, manage airspace, and protect the mission structure. This is not one pilot's story. It is a network of discipline working in synchronization. Control is shared, but command is unified. Maneuverability is not about showing off. It is about positioning faster than the opponent can understand. The aircraft moves like it is cutting through the sky's rules, but it's not breaking rules. It's using physics efficiently. This is what advanced flight control systems exist for. Not speed alone, but controlled speed. The most dangerous moments can look peaceful. Level flight is where decisions are made and routes are confirmed. The pilot is calm because calm is required. The aircraft is stable because stability is engineered. This is not a thrill ride. This is professional dominance in motion. Landing is where discipline becomes visible. The aircraft returns with the same control it left with. Touchdown is precision, not relief. The jet slows down, but the system stays active. Because the mission ends only when the aircraft is secured. And security is part of power. On the ground, the aircraft becomes a project again. Engineers and technicians step into the process immediately. Every flight produces data. Every data point reveals improvement. This is how advanced aircraft stay advanced, not through hype, through relentless refinement. Maintenance is not repair, it is preservation of superiority. The aircraft is checked with a level of detail most people never imagine. Systems are verified, calibrated, and logged. The goal is not working. The goal is perfect. Perfection is what keeps dominance consistent. Preparation loops back into motion. The aircraft does not rest for long. Readiness is the lifestyle of an advanced platform. This is how air superiority stays continuous. Not a single heroic moment, but a cycle that never stops. Momentum becomes normal. Every new takeoff is a new layer of advantage. The aircraft climbs like it is reclaiming its natural environment. Up here, the rules are different. Speed compresses decisions, and decisions define outcomes. The jet does not fly, it operates. Terrain becomes irrelevant from altitude, but it still shapes strategy. Mountains, oceans, and cities are all just coordinates to an aircraft like this. The jet moves through geography like a thought moves through a plan. Smooth, fast, directed. This is how scale feels in the sky. Advanced aircraft are built for decision density. Many actions, many signals, many adjustments, all without panic. The pilot becomes an operator of systems, not a driver of metal. That mindset is what creates modern dominance. Because the aircraft is only as strong as the calm inside it. Calm is control. The aircraft is a spearhead, but the network is the shield. Real-time tracking protects routes and prevents chaos. Modern dominance is coordinated, not solo. Every movement is part of a bigger picture. The bigger picture is what wins, not noise, structure. Even training is structured like a real operation. Holding patterns, re-entry points, timing windows, everything is measured. The aircraft rehearses control until control becomes automatic. This is how superiority is maintained, not by hoping to be ready, by proving readiness every day. Return is a discipline, not a relief. The aircraft approaches with calm precision. Every small correction matters because small corrections prevent big mistakes. This is where professionalism shows. Advanced aircraft demand advanced discipline. Nothing else lasts. The aircraft slows down, but the system stays alive. Rollout is controlled, tracked, and verified. The jet returns not as a trophy, but as a tool that must be preserved. Preservation is part of dominance, because dominance is not one day. Dominance is consistency. Inside the hangar, the aircraft becomes data. Engineers read performance like doctors read vital signs. The goal is constant improvement. The aircraft is advanced because the process behind it is advanced. This is where superiority is protected, quietly, methodically, permanently. Readiness means repetition without fatigue. The aircraft moves again because the mission cycle never truly ends. Even peace requires preparation. The jet's presence itself changes the balance of airspace, not through display, through capability. Capability creates deterrence. Now the system scales. Multiple aircraft, one timeline, one structure. Coordination becomes visible through motion. This is not chaos, it is choreography. Air dominance is not one jet. It is organized power. Organized power is what holds the sky. From this view, the sky becomes a moving grid of discipline. Formation is control, expressed at speed. Each jet holds position like it's locked to an invisible rail. That is what training builds, not just skill. Synchronization. Synchronization creates dominance. Advanced aircraft do not rely on luck. They rely on awareness. The pilot sees patterns before they become threats. This is the true advantage of modern platforms. Early understanding. Understanding allows timing. Timing decides outcomes, and outcomes shape power. Every return is a confirmation of control. The aircraft doesn't stumble back, it arrives with discipline. Smooth approach, clean alignment, stable touch. It looks simple because the system is strong. Strength makes difficult things look easy. That's what dominance feels like. When the engines power down, the mission does not disappear. It becomes analysis, improvement, preparation. The aircraft is quiet, but readiness remains. This is how advanced air power operates, continuous cycles. The sky is never done, it is managed. Even after landing, the story continues. Advanced aircraft live in repetition because repetition is what prevents weakness. The jet climbs again as if the sky is its default home. And in many ways, it is. Because the moment the aircraft is airborne, advantage returns. Quietly, automatically. The aircraft is part of something larger, an ecosystem built for control. Bases, crews, systems, logistics, all moving together. This is what people miss when they only watch takeoffs. Real dominance is not one machine. It's an entire structure supporting that machine. Structure creates permanence. Inside America's most advanced fighter aircraft, technology and discipline merge into one continuous advantage. The aircraft is fast, but more importantly, it is organized. It is stealthy, but more importantly, it is predictable to its own system. This is what true air dominance looks like. Calm capability, repeated perfectly. And when a system can repeat perfection, it controls the sky. The battlefield of the sky is rarely visible to the human eye. By the time most aircraft appear on radar, modern stealth fighters have already moved into position. Speed and altitude become the opening advantage, but information becomes the real weapon. The aircraft is searching, listening, and calculating. Inside the cockpit, the pilot sees a completely different world than what appears outside the canopy. Radar signals and sensor inputs merge together. Every aircraft in range becomes a data point rather than a distant object. Information is the ultimate tactical picture. Formation flight represents coordinated dominance. Multiple aircraft move like pieces on a chessboard, constantly adjusting position. The sky becomes a strategic map where movement must always stay precise and calculated. Low-altitude flight reduces radar exposure and shortens reaction time. The jet moves across the ocean like a shadow. Precision navigation becomes essential at these speeds, where every second counts in avoiding detection. Target acquisition begins long before engagement. Advanced avionics systems calculate distance and speed automatically. The pilot observes and confirms, rather than manually calculating every parameter. The system is the sword. Maneuverability defines survival. The aircraft must change direction faster than threats can react. Flight control computers translate the pilot's smallest movements into complex aerodynamic adjustments. Long missions require endurance beyond normal fuel capacity. Aerial refueling allows the jet to remain active far from base. Once refueled, the aircraft regains full operational freedom, ready to strike or surveil for hours more. The aircraft is part of a much larger network, a digital web of eyes and ears spanning the entire theater. Coordination is the silent engine of air power. No pilot flies alone in the modern age. When squadrons move together, the sky itself changes character, a display of force that needs no translation. Unity of movement is the signature of mastery, dominance through synchronized action and shared intent. At extreme altitude, the fighter jet becomes almost invisible, a silent sentinel watching from the edge of space. Here, the air is thin, but the advantage is absolute. Control the heights, control the outcome. Navigation relies on satellite positioning and advanced computation. The digital path is as real as the physical one. In the cockpit, Every kilometer is a calculation. The mission is a sequence of perfectly executed data points. Mountain terrain creates unpredictable air currents. The pilot must respect the landscape while dominating the air. Visibility shifts in a heartbeat. Skill is the only thing that remains constant in the shadows of the peaks. Carrier launches demonstrate the flexibility of naval aviation, 0 to takeoff in seconds. The carrier is a floating piece of sovereign territory, and its jets are its long reach. Vertical climbs show the raw thrust available, a defiance of gravity made possible by modern engineering. The power of the engine is the pulse of the mission, upward until the sky turns dark navy. Altitude changes transform the tempo. A jet descending from the upper sky gains both speed and unpredictability. Pilots use altitude like a tactical lever, rising for distance, diving for momentum. Modern aircraft do not simply rely on eyesight. Radar systems scan enormous volumes of airspace in seconds. Information appears as patterns and predictions. To see first is to win first. Aerial formations constantly change shape. Pilots spread apart to increase radar coverage and visibility. Coordinated movements ensure no blind spots remain. The squadron is a single, intelligent entity. Desert airspace provides wide-open training environments, a canvas for complex maneuvers and high-speed trials. Here, the heat is a factor, but the focus is absolute, pushing the limits of man and machine. Sensor fusion merges radar, infrared tracking, and satellite info. One display, one truth. The pilot is an information manager, making decisions at the speed of thought. High-G maneuvers test both the aircraft and the pilot, a physical struggle for tactical dominance. Control computers translate the smallest movements into complex aerodynamic perfection. Survival is a game of angles. Behind every fighter mission stands a ground network, the unseen hands guiding the aircraft through the chaos. Information flows both ways. The ground sees the battlefield that the pilot is flying through. Mountain environments challenge pilots with unpredictable winds. Narrow flight paths require absolute focus. Precision is the only protection. Master the terrain or be consumed by it. Landing marks the temporary end of a mission cycle, a return to the Earth after dominating the sky. Touchdown is a moment of relief and a transition to the next phase of preparation. After landing, the aircraft transitions immediately into maintenance procedures. The cycle never truly stops. Every part is inspected, every system is verified. Readiness is a constant pursuit. Every mission produces enormous amounts of technical data. Lessons learned in flight become improvements on the ground. Engineering is the foundation of dominance, the silent work that makes the loud noise possible. Inside the hangar, the aircraft becomes a technical project, a masterpiece of engineering being tuned for the next flight. The jet is a living machine. It breathes through the care of its ground crew. Preparation cycles never truly stop. One mission ends, another is already in the planning phase. The runway is the bridge between the Earth and the invisible battlefield of the sky. When several aircraft prepare for takeoff together, the base becomes a synchronized system, a pulse of power. Anticipation builds in the cockpit and on the ground. The mission is about to go live. Takeoff in formation represents coordinated air power, a declaration of presence in the sky. The roar of the engines is the sound of freedom and dominance. The battlefield is now theirs. Above the clouds, the squadron becomes a moving wall of capability, a force that cannot be ignored. They are the masters of the invisible battlefield, operating where others cannot even see. Advanced aircraft operate with calm precision even at extreme speeds. The machine handles the stress. A pilot handles the strategy. The cockpit is a sanctuary of focus in a world of high-speed variables. Trust the data, trust the training. Open ocean airspace allows pilots to operate without terrain restrictions, a limitless playground for air power. Here, the horizon is the only limit. Every maneuver is a step toward total control of the theater. At cruising altitude, the aircraft appears almost motionless, a deception of speed that hides the true power within. The invisible battlefield is quiet for those who have already conquered it. Preparation has met opportunity. In the invisible battlefield of the sky, dominance belongs to those who master information, speed, and discipline. The mission continues. The shift remains irreversible, identity verified, access granted. Every advanced fighter mission begins with silent preparation. Engineers inspect the aircraft with extraordinary precision, examining every wing surface, every sensor, and every engine component. The aircraft appears calm on the runway, but inside its systems, thousands of processors are already working. Navigation computers calculate flight paths, radar systems begin scanning the surrounding airspace, and communication links connect the aircraft to command centers far away. For the pilot sitting inside the cockpit, this moment represents the beginning of a carefully planned operation. In modern aerial warfare, preparation is just as important as speed. As the engines release full power, the aircraft surges forward across the runway. Within seconds, the fighter jet reaches the speed required for lift. The wheels leave the ground and the aircraft begins its rapid climb toward operational altitude. From this moment onward, every movement in the sky must be calculated with precision. Modern fighter aircraft can reach incredible heights within minutes, placing them above most potential threats. Inside the cockpit, the pilot manages a powerful network of sensors and flight systems. Radar signals sweep across hundreds of kilometers of airspace searching for movement. Satellite links transmit updated intelligence from command centers around the world. Instead of relying only on eyesight, modern pilots rely on data. Information flows continuously through the aircraft systems, allowing the pilot to see far beyond the horizon. Stealth aircraft represent decades of aerodynamic engineering. Every surface angle of the fuselage is carefully shaped to reduce radar reflection. Special materials absorb incoming radar waves rather than reflecting them back toward enemy systems. As a result, the aircraft becomes extremely difficult to detect at long distances. In modern aerial warfare, invisibility can be just as valuable as speed. Air superiority rarely belongs to a single aircraft. Instead, it emerges from coordinated squadrons operating as one connected system. Each aircraft shares radar information and flight data with the others. Pilots communicate constantly, adjusting their positions to maintain the strongest possible formation. When several advanced fighter jets move together through the sky, they create a powerful aerial network. Low-altitude flight presents an entirely different tactical environment. Flying close to the surface allows the aircraft to reduce radar exposure and approach targets more discreetly. At these speeds, even a small mistake could become dangerous. Pilots rely on training and advanced flight computers to maintain stability while flying just above the ocean surface. This type of flight demonstrates the incredible precision of modern aircraft. Modern fighter jets can travel extraordinary distances when supported by aerial refueling. The tanker aircraft serves as a flying fuel station high above the clouds. Pilots must guide their aircraft with extreme precision to connect with the refueling boom. Even small movements must be controlled carefully while both aircraft continue flying at high speed. Once connected, the fighter jet can extend its mission far beyond normal range limits. With fuel restored, the aircraft regains full operational flexibility. The pilot pushes the throttle forward, and the engines respond instantly. The fighter jet climbs once again toward high altitude, where its speed and sensors provide maximum advantage. From this position, the aircraft can observe large sections of airspace and react quickly to any developing situation. Behind the aircraft, an entire network of specialists monitors the mission. Radar stations track aircraft movements across enormous distances. Satellite systems provide additional intelligence about weather patterns and potential threats. Communication links allow the pilot to receive updated instructions from command centers. Modern aerial operations depend on constant coordination between aircraft and ground teams. As the squadron climbs higher, the aircraft spread across the sky like moving sentinels. Each pilot maintains awareness of the others while scanning the surrounding airspace. Together, the formation covers a large operational area. The sky becomes an enormous strategic landscape where every movement matters. At extreme altitude, the atmosphere becomes calm and quiet. From this height, the aircraft can monitor vast distances across the horizon. Pilots gain a strategic view of the airspace below them. This altitude allows them to detect movement early and respond before threats approach too closely. From this perspective, the squadron appears almost silent against the sky. But each aircraft carries advanced technology capable of shaping the outcome of modern aerial warfare. Together, they represent the highest level of aviation engineering ever created. As the aircraft continues forward, the mission begins to enter its most important phase. At this altitude, the fighter jet becomes both a sensor platform and a defensive shield for the squadron. Pilots monitor radar signals carefully while scanning the horizon for any unexpected movement. Every maneuver must be controlled and deliberate because the aircraft is now operating in a region where reaction time becomes extremely limited. Speed becomes a powerful strategic advantage at these heights. The aircraft can reposition quickly across large sections of airspace. Modern jet engines allow pilots to maintain incredible velocity while still keeping full control of the aircraft. This combination of speed and maneuverability is what defines modern air dominance. Inside the cockpit, the pilot constantly evaluates the tactical situation. Information arrives from radar systems, satellites, and command centers simultaneously. Instead of focusing only on flying the aircraft, the pilot must think strategically about positioning and timing. Every decision made in the cockpit influences the effectiveness of the entire squadron. Descending from altitude introduces new tactical opportunities. By lowering its flight path, the aircraft can reduce its radar visibility and approach certain regions more quietly. Pilots often combine altitude changes with speed adjustments to create unpredictable movement patterns. This makes the aircraft significantly harder for adversaries to track. Desert airspace provides an excellent training environment for advanced fighter pilots. The wide-open terrain allows them to practice aggressive maneuvers and tactical positioning. Pilots learn to manage extreme speeds while maintaining precise control of the aircraft. These exercises prepare them for real combat scenarios where reaction time becomes critical. While the aircraft operates in the skyground, radar stations remain active. Operators monitor aircraft movement across massive areas of airspace. Communication networks ensure that pilots receive updated information instantly. This coordination between air and ground units creates a powerful surveillance system. Formation changes allow the squadron to cover greater distances and detect potential threats earlier. Each aircraft becomes a sensor node collecting information about the surrounding environment. Pilots constantly adjust their positions to maintain optimal spacing. Together, they create a flexible and resilient aerial network. High-performance maneuvers demonstrate the incredible agility of modern fighter aircraft. The aircraft responds instantly to pilot commands while maintaining aerodynamic stability. These maneuvers allow pilots to reposition quickly in response to developing situations. Aerial refueling operations require extreme precision and discipline. Pilots must guide their aircraft carefully while maintaining speed and stability. Once connected, the fighter jet receives additional fuel that extends its mission range dramatically. With its fuel tanks replenished, the aircraft regains full operational flexibility. The pilot pushes the engines to higher power, and the aircraft begins climbing again. The squadron reforms its formation and moves toward the next phase of the operation. Extreme maneuverability allows pilots to respond instantly to unexpected threats. Combat formations allow pilots to protect one another while maintaining offensive capability. At higher altitude, the aircraft gains a wider radar horizon. Artificial intelligence systems assist pilots by analyzing threats quickly. The squadron now moves like a single coordinated system. Speed remains one of the greatest advantages of modern fighter aircraft. From this altitude, the pilots control enormous regions of airspace. Above the clouds, the sky becomes quiet and endless. Only the most advanced aircraft can operate comfortably at these heights. This is the new era of aerial dominance. Machines engineered not only to fly, but to command the sky. The future of air superiority belongs to those who combine speed, intelligence, and discipline. The machines that dominate the sky will define the next chapter of aviation history.